swear it's a lot of people that's mad at me. They disagree and attempt to try and embarrass me. I'm getting sick of the Pharisees coming after me. I say what God tell me, ain't no way that they could cancel me for saying that I feel like social media is dangerous. Everybody's sexy, successful, I think they gangster. It's all fun and games until the kids do the same thing and use their cell phone to get everyone on the same wave. It feels strange leaving us in a state of distraught. Why do it feel like my phone be knowing most of my thoughts? Television since a child, so it's all that I've been taught. And how come when I start to research, I'm trying not to get caught, yet it feels weird. Why wouldn't I talk about it? We all know the truth and we constantly walk around it. When I talk about Christmas, they all had looked at me funny. I just feel a lot of holidays be used to make money. I mean, think about it. Look, y'all can tell me if I'm a trip, but how is Christ's birthday and we the ones getting gifts? And when I talk about the vaccine, everybody be extra. I don't feel like it's the mark, man. I just feel like it's a test run so we can feel comfortable when we falling in line. Don't believe what they telling you cause they all in disguise. That's why they telling us lies. But that's a different conversation. Gotta wait till COVID finish decreasing population. But anyway, I think they go keep calling me crazy now. Everybody sleeping, let's see if you go be lazy now. We breaking out these chains so we could go get on God wave. The world is up in flames and we just talking about LeBron James. Dang, man, why did I say his name, man? I'm sorry. I know this sounds funny, but it's not a game. Atari, I'm sorry. Don't know why I keep on playing around. That's how easily the snake could distract us until we drown and then attract us to the ground that we had started from. Stop friend zoning your demons and kill all of them. It ain't no sparing lives in spiritual warfare, cause people be playing dead and come back to get all theirs. Beware, because we gotta pick a side and time is not.
What's good? What's good? What is good, everybody? I appreciate y'all coming through for another evening where we're gonna dive in and get rid of this foolishness in our brains that we have been raised up in this pure Babylon society. It's your boy Big Red back again. I hope y'all had a good time since we last met with each other. This ain't the new year, so I'm not gonna say, oh, hope you had a good New Year's, because we all know New Year starts in the spring. You know, it's only this Gregorian nonsense that got us going and chasing after strange times and seasons. For those that don't know, the Hebrew original calendar of the Bible is a lunar solar calendar. It follows the moon and how it does things. There were 13 months and 364 days. There was no leap years and all this other nonsense that they've added in to get our days all discombobulated and all screwed up and stuff. So yeah, I'm not gonna say Happy New Year because it ain't New Year yet. It don't make sense to start a new year in the middle of winter when New Year typically starts in the middle of spring and when things start growing and coming back. So yeah, man, it's we live in a twisted system, and because of this twisted system, it has encouraged us to do absolute nonsense. It has encouraged us to push ourselves and disregard ancient things that the Most High has basically built into us as human beings. We don't live as humans anymore, and everything in this world is objectively designed to counter the humanity that the Most High created in us, the things that help us align with who He is. So today, this evening rather, I will be going over one thing that's so prevalent in our society. It's like super prevalent, super prevalent. You know, if you saw it from the even though the little AI couldn't, I don't know why it didn't spell the thing properly on the IV bags, but it was a good representation of what I wanted it to do, showing how there are demon spirits that are feeding us things into our soul via the blood, which is our soul, which is why I, check the posted comment that I put up there about getting your copy of the free ebook I have. What is a soul? I'm going to talk a bit about the soul and make, a lot of references to that. But if I'm not going to go into true detail, if you want to understand the detail and the sources on why I say that the blood is your soul and why this is, and use biblical examples to show you not only why the existing understanding of the soul is wrong, but the biblical understanding of the soul is total opposite of the Christian religious, the Christian religious orthodox way that they say what the soul is. Then get that free ebook. It's free. You can go check it out at publishing.crimsonlion.com. It's a pinned comment at the top, and leave your boy a blessing when you go there. I appreciate it. It's all optional, but the book itself is indeed free, because I want y'all to get this foundational understanding of what your soul is, because the souls are truly what there is war for. The soul is the way to get to your spirit. You know, if your soul is fallen, then your spirit ends up in a fallen state as well, and then that's how you end up being tossed in the trash pile when the Drake judgment comes. That's essentially what hell is. It's going to be the trash pile. You didn't pass the cut, and you get eternal separation because you didn't want to follow the ways of your creator. You wanted to do things your way, and you followed the example of these fallen watchers, these doggone demonic entities that left their estate in heaven and created this set of beings on earth as a rebellious action against the Most High to try to do what he did in the most demonic and twisted way. And the way I'm bringing this up is because the twistedness is the nature of what they do. Everything, they have nothing new. You know, Christianity teaches you to just shy away from everything and everything's bad. Oh, it's bad. But what it is they took the things of Yah and they twisted it. So it's not an understanding of, oh, it's just bad, run away. You have to understand why it's bad. You have to understand why this thing is the way it is. And you have to understand what it is in contrast to with the Most High. There is balance within everything. You know, there are a lot of things that we've been presented as demonic, which actually are not. Like I'll say that, you know, a lot of times they say ancestor worship, where, you know, ancestor worship itself is bad. You know, you don't worship your ancestors. Like, why would you worship another person that couldn't even save themselves from death? Like, that's crazy. However, a lot of things that get called ancestor worship, like in China, and it's something that they got from Africa, or rather from the nations within Africa, is the honoring of your ancestors. That's why you would have certain objects and things like that they would say would represent this person or that person. It's no different than you having a photograph today, and is what they would use as a way of remembering and honoring that person that brings it in. Just like I always honor my mother because she was the one who taught me how to study the word. She was the one who brought that in. So it would be like on her birthday, if I lit incense as honor to her, you know, like I'm remembering her. That's not saying I'm worshiping her, because that's what they do in China. They have, especially in big established houses, they'll have a room for their ancestors, and they'll go in there and they'll burn incense in remembrance and in honor of their ancestors. That's not worship. That is honoring those who have made it so you can be where you are today. And that's one of the things that they've taken away from us. They've taken away honor. They've taken away shame. They've taken away all the things that help us walk the narrow path of the Most High Yah, and just said everything is law. You do as thou wilt. That is the thing. Do as thou wilt. Do what you want. Don't worry. Don't be restrained. Unrestrained. Oh, that's old fashioned. Old fashioned. You're gonna hear me talk about that a lot. This old fashioned, because old fashioned is what we need to get back to. This seed that has been planted in our soul that has us cringing internally against old things, like, oh, that's old, we're so much better now. Oh, modern is so much better. It's not it. And in one of those key ways, and one of the things that they've hugely diverted and set these things up, is in the order of Yah. And then a part of that order is the relationship between man, woman, Yah, and even the earth. All these things, these key core components, affect everything else. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here. Let's go ahead and share this screen. I want to share it with the audio. Share. All right. And what we have here is oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I think y'all probably, let me do something real quick. I forgot to do it. I usually do it all the time because give me one quick second, because I know it's hard for y'all to see some of the things that I display up because my monitor is got a very high resolution. So let me adjust the resolution of that monitor. Going to keep the changes in, so that way it should be better for y'all to see. Let me, oh, there we go. And I'm going to, see, that's already, I can see it already on my other screen, how that's better for y'all. So let me adjust this a little bit. Oops, not that much. We want to have it just like that, so y'all can see everything that I got going on here. You can have an understanding of this chart that I created. So basically, this is something I made. This is a quick reference so it's understood how I put this. So this is just a simplification of something I just slung together real quick. You have Yahuwah as the base. He's the creator of everything. Yah created from his word the earth. It was chaos in the beginning, and then from his word he created the earth and all of the different laws and things within the earth. And then from that earth he used the earth as source material to create man. And then from man he used man as the source material to create the woman. Both the earth, the man and the woman, they need Yah. All of these, that's why you have the arrow coming back to them. Like the earth, I use just a two separate, both-sided arrow, showing that all of them need Yah as the creator. He's the creator. So basically everybody venerates Yah no matter what. Yah is the center of everything. However, there is a structure within the lower realm here within earth. So from earth, man needs the earth as their source for life and health. So when you, like right now, the reason why we all sickly, the reason why we have all these issues is because they've taken us from the earth and they've put us into this pharmakia nonsense. It's witchcraft, it's demonic, sick mess that they do. They've demonized people that use natural remedies and herbs and stuff. Even when you talk about herbology and stuff like that, again, the first thing that comes to your westernized, Christianized brain is, oh, that's some witchcraft voodoo. Oh, yeah, root worker. And oh, that's witchcraft and blah, 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 blah. Like, actually, it's not. The source of us is this earth. All the materials that you need for your body are found within the earth naturally. And that is what we need for us as humankind for our source ourselves in life and health, how we restore ourselves and maintain balance within our life. And then from the man, he created the woman. The woman needs the man as a source of protection and fulfillment. That means that woman has a certain purpose. The woman has a purpose, and her purpose is to be that help to that man. And I'm going to show it to you in the scripture and show it to you and explain it to you, because I know already, female sensibilities is like, I am this, and that's the part of the problem. This is the key part of the issue, is because when one is out of whack, the whole system and below Yah gets out of whack. When man doesn't qualify the earth, I can use myself as an example. I didn't really have a love for animals and stuff. I like birds. I've always loved birds, but I never really put much thought into it. I thought people that was always like overly, and that is the truth. There is too much love for animals, because there's certain folks among us that love animals more than humans, and that's unnatural and jacked up and just messed up, the Anglo mindset. But I didn't really have a respect for nature until an incident happened where a pet of ours actually ended up in a bad situation because of just a lack of paying attention on my fault. And it really put me in a different mindset on how we need to work together with the earth, including the animals, how we need to make a safe space for the animals and do things right. Like there's this cat that I see all the time in my little back porch area. I don't know why he likes to hang out over in my back porch area. I'll go out there and I'll see him sitting there chilling and stuff. And one day I went out there in my back porch and this dude was knocked out. Like the cat was knocked out. I tapped on the window. He didn't move. I even opened my back door and was sitting there looking at him, and that meant that thing was knocked out. Bro was in straight peaceful sleep. It wasn't until I tapped out there and made a loud noise, he finally woke up and saw me, and he scurried away. And I remember my mom used to say something back in the day about how when you have peace in your home, when you have the spirit of Yah in your place, the animals can detect that, and the animals will be there to come around for peace. And I was like, I kind of praise Yah for a little bit. At first, I thought, he was on some nonsense, because I always associate cats with witchcraft and stuff. So I'm looking at him sideways. But then I realized that, no, there's peace in the property that's allotted to me. And he's able to pick up on that peace. And that's why he was able to go there and get a good sense of sleep. So there is a harmony between man and the earth, just like there's a harmony between man and the woman. And I'm going to show you that harmony. We're going to come here into the word now. And right here in this word, what we're going to go into Genesis 20. Let me see. I'm going to start with 2:21. Genesis 2:21, using my favorite, online resource, Blue Letter Bible. That's the one of the best spots to get all of your research materials in one spot. Even though I may not support, their Christian mindset. This resource that they put together is really, really good. And I highly recommend it to anybody that's looking to study the word deeper, which we all need to do. Don't just be a hearer. Even with the stuff I'm telling you, go back and research it for yourself. Don't just take everything I say as word and be like, oh, I've got it. Like, no, read it for yourself and make sure that it agrees within your spirit, that the Most High puts that agreement there. Don't just blindly believe anybody. You need to go into the word and read for yourself. Do not just blindly believe me. Do not blindly believe anybody. Follow Yah and read the word and allow the word to be the final resource that guides you and leads you, which is why I always try to bring everything back into the word. You get these modern preachers, they give these little TED Talks, they take one scripture and run with it and say all kinds of goofy manner of things. No, everything comes back to the word is your base. It's literally, that's why the Messiah was called the cornerstone. He's that foundation, that thing that everything rests upon. And if it's not on him, then it's going to fall apart. It's sinking sand. So we're going to read Genesis 2:22. And the rib, I'm going to actually start at 21. I'm sorry. And the Lord Yah caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. And he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh thereof. Fun fact, the rib is actually one of the bones in your body that regrows. Like if something happens to your rib will actually regrow back. So when the Most High chose the rib, he knew what he was doing because he knew what he created. I thought that was pretty interesting. And the rib, which Yah created from man, made he a woman and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. That means that they will be one. Now, this simple thing that we all know, we literally all take it for granted. The divorce rate in America is enough to tell you why, and in the world wide, it should tell you why this has been taken for granted. Why are all the divorces mainly led out by women, especially in the West? Why is all of this stuff happening? Why do we see these things occur? And one of the things that I want to come up here for, we're going to actually go up. I kind of read the scriptures a little backwards, but we're going to go up here. And what I want you to do is we're going to read 2:17. I'm sorry, 2:18. And Yah said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a help meet for him. Now, y'all know what we do over here. We don't just take the King James, because the King James is a very, very terrible translation. So we like to break these things down. And in the Blue Letter Bible, when you click on tools, it gives you all these different things. I don't like to use the cross refs and stuff. You use different Bibles, commentaries. Don't ever use commentaries. Commentaries is just some religious dude's opinion that's usually went to seminary school and their brains are locked into this one rigid way of thinking. And I've yet to meet anybody who's come out of a seminary that still clings to the seminary teachings, who's accurate in their depictions of the word. They'll get some things right. Don't get it twisted. They'll say some things right. They'll get a lot of things correct. But a lot of them more, especially when it comes to prophecy and properly walking before the Lord as according to Torah, they suck. I'm just going to just be straight up with you. They suck. So commentaries, I'll tell you all the same thing my mama told me. Don't worry about them commentaries. Don't read them commentaries. Leave that mess alone. It's usually trash. So what we're going to do is see now what they did here, which is one thing that I hate. Oh, this is my lower resolution. I'm so used to seeing it. So they do this thing here. You see how right now H559 up here for and down below at said is both highlighted. When I mouse over this, they took one word. As you see, this is this one word of the phrase in the scripture, and they made two sentences out of it because this is the stupidness that they do. Instead of, trying to keep things in line, they twist things out, and it's something that stinks. I don't like when they do that, and it kind of adds things crazy. Also, you see here this word it is has no analog in there. There's no Hebrew word. Whenever you see italic words or words that are in brackets and stuff like that, that lets you know that they're added. They added for understanding within English, because English is a trash language, so they add in these words to make understanding where there would usually be none. So here it basically says, I'm gonna start up here, is basically this Amar. It was like, this is a transitional thing that they have. So it's like basically in Yah, Jehovah God, or Jehovah Elohim, or Yahuwah Elohim, He said, it's not good. Yehovah Elohim said it's not good for Adam to exist alone. Haya, this word here, haya, means, let's go over here real quick. Those who read the book may be familiar with it because I break up this word. There's two sets of this word actually in that both say haya, but the way you pronounce it is a little different with the way the enunciations are and stuff like that. When you start getting into other languages, you find that one word can have multiple meanings depending upon the way you say it. Chinese is notorious for this with intonations and how you say different things and whatnot. So this, haya means to exist, to be, to happen, to come into being, to be. So he's saying that it's not good for, this man to exist alone. So what he's saying is, I will create a helpmeet for him. This word helpmeet, when we look that up, is Izer. The word Izer means help, succor, one who helps. That word succor, let's look up that word succor. Succor means relief, aid, help, something that furnishes relief. You see, Adam had just got finished naming all the animals. He was working. The Most High put him in the garden and put him to work. He was tilling the garden, and he did the other work that he had when he had all the angels bring the animals before them, and he classified the genus of all the animals. That's why when the woman was created, he didn't give her a name because he classified the genus of who she was. The gender of this creature that was created before him was called woman because she came from man and she has a womb. That's the English meaning of that word, woman. So he gave her the genus because that was his job. He didn't name her because she was equal to him. So the Most High gave Adam his name because the Most High was the one given authority over mankind. So he at that time had the authority to name Adam. So Adam couldn't name her because he didn't have the authority to name himself. He had the name that he was given to him from Yah. He simply called her woman. And when Adam was called, they both came. They were equal. They were equal in the beginning. And she was created to bring about relief. He was doing all that stuff. That takes time. You got to go around all these animals. You exercising, working in the spirit, getting your knowledge from Yah, and giving the animals all their names according to their natures, and doing all these different things. And then you're tilling and working in the garden and stuff. You out grinding all day long. And he just like, yeah, it's cool to hang out with the, the oxen and the lions and all that kind of stuff, but it's not the same. It's not that same relief. So the Most High was like, you know what? I want to, to keep mankind going. I want to create a relief for him. I'm going to create help, someone that can not only help him bring about more parts of mankind, but they will be the aid to the man. And that is what this word succor means. It means something that furnishes relief. So what the Most High is saying here is, I am going to create something for him that will be a relief for him. And then that's why it said that when we read back to before, he caused a deep sleep and he took the rib and he made the woman. And then it gives you this explanation here. It's like, this is why when a man leaves his father and his mother, they cleave unto his wife, they shall be one flesh. So this little excerpt in 24 is like kind of like an aside, like the author is explaining to you, because of this situation where the Most High created Adam, he created the woman, he brought them together. Now this is why when a man and a woman get together, the man leaves his father and his mother and he cleaves to the wife. He no longer stays, up under them. He cleaves with the wife and they become one, because Adam and Eve were one in the beginning. That's why when a lot of dudes like to say, oh, the woman is the reason why the apple came in, and that's true. But the in part that's not true is that it's not like Adam was dumb and he didn't know nothing about it. Like Adam stepped out of his whole authority when he didn't chastise the woman and check her. He should have checked her and be like, hey, no. We don't do that over here. The Most High said this, and this. Snake, you get the heck up out of my garden. And I'm bringing you to the Most High to for him to bring, whatever he got to do to handle you. We're not finna do this. This is why when she ate first, their eyes weren't open. It's because it required them to be unanimous in their rebellion. It was only just one-sided. Adam could have came in and Adam could have brought restoration back to that whole situation. But he knew, this is just me personally, this is Red talking, Red theory. I personally believe that they also were connected even in a soulish way, where her thoughts would be known to him and his thoughts would be kind of known to her. So it's like he had an awareness already, even if she was on the other side of the garden, he had an awareness of what was going on. He had an understanding. But, he kind of sat back, said, oh, nothing happened when she ate it, so I guess it's fine. I guess it's good. I guess we're okay. So the man wasn't totally absolved from this situation. However, the enemy has a habit of using women. He has a habit of coming in and grabbing women and using women as a way to undermine the man and to take her into a position that allows him to easily undermine the man. Because the nature of a woman is to follow. I don't care how y'all, I understand some of y'all may feel a type of way. You may think you have your own mind. I'm here to tell you that mind is not yours. It was given to you. Your mind and your way of you think to things has been handed to you. That's why in my picture for this video, when you see the thumbnail, there's a TV there with the little hypnotism thing going. That is their primary source, along with radio, books, and all the other things. But the TV, and turn the TV into your phones and your computers, all that stuff, that screen is their primary way to broadcast their witchcraft into you to infect your soul. So what you got to do is you have to take everything that you believe and think and take all of that and put it before the Most High Yah. And I'm saying it, don't think that I'm saying this as somebody who's got there and arrived. I'm going to put it how my mom used to put it. This going from the pulpit on back. This is coming from my side where I'm sitting here on this microphone to all the way through these electrical wires into whatever way you're picking up this signal and you're receiving this message. It all goes the same way. It all comes in together. Like we're all in this. I'm not gonna sit here and act like, oh, I'm perfect, I got all this together. Absolutely not. I am still coming up and finding things that in my life and in my thinking that I need to fix and I need to get rid of. And I ain't gonna lie, it's a struggle. And then one of those things is in this key covenant that the most high established that we constantly play around with, and that is sex and marriage. Sex was the main thing that was when it become one flesh. During sexual intercourse, what happens? You become one flesh. The man is inside of the woman. Y'all are one. You join together. And this joining is much deeper than just a physical act. That's why when a woman first gets into a sexual act, there is blood that is shed, because that is a covenant. When a man gets with a woman, back in the day, the tradition was that when the man had sex with the woman, that was his wife. She became his woman. That was her. She was his. So that they became together. But we've just washed this away so much in this day and age where we just treat sex as a commodity. It's treated as just do it because you feel like it. Oh, do it. This was especially pushed into women. It was pushed into men, and then it was also just doubled down into women. They started it in the 80s with men. Like in the 80s, when the blacks play, especially, and I'm talking about us as a people, those of us that are the bywords of the world, the African Americans, the Negroes, the Black Americans, the ones that want to call themselves FBA, which that's bullcrap. But I ain't even acknowledge them Negroes. We're gonna just pause on them. But all these bywords that we get called, these things were especially designed for us, because it's kind of like what a good friend of mine over at Lawful Love, y'all go check out my good friend Lawful Love Judge Shar over there, talks about is blood in the pores, like the golden child. With the golden child, the only way that they could get the golden child to step out of his gold, his holiness, was to feed him blood and porridge. When Balaam went to go and try to curse the Hebrews when they were walking in the ways of the Most High, what matter of fact, I'll show you. I will show you. I didn't plan on. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't plan on bringing up our good buddy Balaam, but I think that this is. Oh man, how do you spell that Joker's name? How do you spell that man's name? Is it Balaam? I thought it was Baalem. Ah, man. Or is it Lem? Sorry about that, y'all. Y'all getting a good I didn't know there was a dude named Balaam. Huh. Let's see here. I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name or how to spell his name. But Balaam was a wizard that the enemies of Judah came to him and they were like, "Hey, bro, we want you to curse the Hebrews." And he tried, but he couldn't curse. Somebody said it. What'd you say there? what you say that name is? Oh, somebody shouted me out there. Hold on. I see you. That's what I thought it was. That okay? Let's try that one. I must have put Bale at the 2 front. Let me try that one. That's it. Appreciate you, Avery. I appreciate you. Shout out Avery. I appreciate you, brother. If you are, brother. If you're not, I apologize. So here we go. We're gonna go to Numbers 22:5. And so basically Moab, and when in the Melders Indian, they wanted to come up and they wanted to get rid of all the folks in the Hebrews. So he sent messengers. We're going to start at 22:5. He sent messengers, therefore, unto Balaam, son of Beor, to Pethor, which is by the river of the land of the children of his people, to call him, saying, behold, there's a people come out from Egypt, the Hebrews. Behold, they cover the face of the earth. Now, they cover the face of the earth. What does that mean? That means there was a lot of us. That means that they were having kids, lots of kids. I encourage y'all to read the book of Jasher and Jubilees. Jubilees is another excellent book as well. Really, almost all the apocryphal books. If you get the apocryphal books that come out of the Ethiopian Bible, those books are great. They add a lot of context into things because you learn that Abraham had more kids after Isaac. After Sarah died, he actually took up another wife after he got a wife for Isaac, and he had like 9 more kids. I think he actually took 2 more wives, if I'm not mistaken. And he had like 9 more kids just from this other one wife. So they were having children left and right. They didn't have kids. They was having children. It was a curse for a woman to not have kids. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So this is again, the enemies of Yah were upset about us covering the face of the earth. Keep this in mind. And they abide over against me, meaning we ruled over them. Our people were the rulers of the earth. Just as you see now, pretty much the Ashkenaz and Edom are the rulers of this realm. The rulers of the realm used to be us. All of the nations paid obeisance and had to honor us. And they didn't like it because they wanted to go off and do the nasty stuff, following after their fallen watchers, the fallen Nephilim, who were the sons and then bastards of the watchers. So, come now, I pray thee. This is 22:6. Come now, I pray thee. Curse me this people, for they are too mighty for me. Peradventure I shall prevail that we smite them, and that I may drive them out of the land. For I want that he whom thou blessed is blessed, and he whom thou cursed is cursed. He says he knows that whoever Balaam blesses is blessed, and whoever Balaam curses is cursed. And the elders of Moab and the elders of Midian departed with rewards of divination in their hand, and they came unto Balaam and spoke unto the words of Balak. So Balak sent his elders, all the high-ranking people of his kingdom, out there with money to basically pay this dude to curse us. And he said unto them, lodge here this night, and I will bring you word again, as the Lord shall speak unto me. And the princes of Moab abode with Balaam. And Yah came unto Balaam and said, what men are these with thee? And Balaam said unto Yah, Balak the son of Zippor, king of Moab, has sent unto me, saying, behold, there's a people come out of Egypt, which covereth the face of the earth. Come now, curse me them. Peradventure I shall be able to overcome them and drive them out. And Yah said unto Balaam, thou shalt not go with them, and thou shalt not curse the people, for they are blessed. When you're blessed, they can't. That's what that phrase comes. Who can pull you from the hand of Yah? When you're in the hand of Yah and you doing what's right, you good. You're good. They can huff and puff, but they can't blow your house down because you're made from the stone that is the Messiah. You're bricked up. You got a bricked up house. You're good to go. You can't blow down bricks. You can blow up straw. You can blow down all the other buildings and stuff like that, but you can't easily take down something that's made from brick. So Balaam rose in the morning and said unto the princes of Balak, get into your land, for the Lord Yah refuses to give me leave to go with you. And the princes of Moab rose up and went to Balak and said, Balaam refuses to us. Balak sent more folks out there and said, and more honorable than they. And they came to Balaam and said unto him, thus Balak the son of Zippor, let nothing, I pray thee, hinder thee from coming unto me. For I will promote thee unto very great honor, and will do whatever you saith unto me. Come therefore, I pray thee. He upped the ante. He said, look, man, we're going to give you money. We're going to give you status. We're going to set you up. As a matter of fact, anything you want, I got you, bro. I just need you to do this one thing for me. So Balak answered and said to the servants, Balaam answered and said to the servants of Balak, if Balak would give me his house full of silver and gold, I can't go with the word of the Lord my God to do less and more. Now, therefore, I pray thee, tarry here after this night, that I may know what the Lord may say unto me more. And God came unto Balaam and said unto him, the men that come to thee, rise up and go with them, but yet the word I shall say unto thee, thou shalt do. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to skip this a little bit, actually. Here we go. And Balaam rose up in the morning, saddled his donkey, and went with the princes of Moab. And the anger of Yah was kindled against him, because he went, and the angel of Yah stood in the way for an adversary against him. Now he was riding upon his ass, and his 2 servants were with him. And the ass saw the angel standing in the way, and the sword drawn in his hand, and the ass turned aside out of the way and went into the field. And Balaam smote the ass, turned the other into the way. But the angel of the Lord stood in the path of the vineyards, a wall being on his side and a wall on that side. And the ass saw the angel of the Lord, and she thrust herself into the wall and crushed Balaam's foot against the wall, and he smote her again. And the Lord the angel of Yah went further and stood in a narrow place, and there was no way to turn, either left hand or right. So basically, the donkey was trying to keep this dude alive. He was moving around side by side, trying to dodge this angel to keep this joker alive. And when the ass saw the angel of the Lord, she fell down under Balaam, and Balaam's anger was kindled, and he smote the ass with a staff. And Yah opened the mouth of the ass, and she said unto Balaam, what have I done unto thee, that thou hast smitten me these 3 times? And Balaam said unto the ass, thou that hast mocked me, I would there were a sword in my hand now, for I would kill thee. And the ass said unto Balaam, and I not thine ass, upon which thou hast ridden ever since I was thine unto this day? Was I ever wont to do so unto thee? And he said, nay. And Yah opened the eyes of Balaam, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And he bowed down his head and fell flat on his face. And the angel of Yah said unto him, wherefore hast thou smitten thine ass 3 times? Behold, I went out to withstand thee. Behold, because thy way is perverse before me. And the ass saw me and turned from me these 3 times. Unless she had turned from me, surely now also I had slain thee and saved her life. So basically, the angel was going to kill him and leave the donkey alive. The donkey got so much loyalty for him, which kind of goes back into my example before about how the earth and the animals in the earth work together with man. There's that symbiotic relationship. The donkey held up her side of the relationship, but because Balaam was out of whack with Yah, the donkey was trying to save him. He was out of whack in the relationship. He wasn't right. Again, the earth, the animal included within the earth, was honoring him, but he, the man, was not honoring Yah. So that's why this whole disruption occurred. So the angel of the Lord spoke unto Balaam, said, go with the men, but only the word I shall speak unto thee, that thou shalt speak. So Balaam went to with the princes of Balak. And when Balak heard that Balaam was come, he went out to meet him unto the city of Moab, which is the border of Anan. Now, mind you, let me give y'all a quick cultural breakdown. When the king comes out to meet you, if the person of authority comes out to meet you, that is an honor. So he's honoring Balaam right now. Balak is coming out to meet him. When you meet somebody at the gates, that is showing an honor. Because typically, when you bring guests in, they get brought into like the guest hall and stuff, and then you come in and you meet them there. But when you have really important guests, you meet them at the door. You're like, no, I want to personally, I'm not going to have my servants bring you in. I'm going to honor you by having me serve you as the leader. So this is what he's doing. And Balak said unto Balaam, did I not earnestly send unto thee and call to thee? Wherefore camest thou not unto me? Am I not able to indeed promote thee to honor? And Balaam said unto Balak, lo, I am come unto thee. Have I now any power at all to say anything? The word of God that putteth in my mouth, that shall I speak. And Balaam went with Balak, and they came unto Kirath-Juzoth. And Balak offered oxen and sheep, and sent Balaam and the princes that were with him. And now we're going to go over here. Uh-oh, my bad, y'all. Oh, there it is. It put the thing in the full screen. I meant to come up here and go here to the next chapter. And what I want to do is I want to get to the part where he talks about telling them how they go. Give me a quick second. I'm showing y'all how the sauce is made real quick. This is an impromptu add-on. 7 altars, the bullock, because it comes a part where Balak basically says, in order to curse them, y'all need to basically just bring them women out here and get the women and let the women be a falling point for them. He wanted to use sexual sin as a way to bring them down. And so you can't curse when you're blessed. But when you break the covenant, that is when you are allowed to be affected, because that's when Yah takes his hand off of you. That's where he pulls himself away. And that covenant that he meant for was the old covenant of sex. And what I want to do here is I actually want to come over here and talk about this word no. Because in the Bible, whenever it talks about a man getting, just like it said, Adam knew his wife and all these different things, that word is yada. It means to know, to have knowledge of, to perceive, to understand, to make oneself known. This is the one thing I really wanted to see, to make oneself known, to reveal oneself. It is so common now to reveal yourself to people that we don't even show honor anymore, and even how we present our bodies. There are so many women that will come into the church. The church is a circus. We all know that. Check the last video I put out about that stuff, about the circus that is the church. And they were so used to this culture of nakedness that it's just normal. It's normal for you to come around with your cleavage out. It's normal for you to walk around with everything just hanging out and showing and stuff like that. It is normal for us to just be revealing ourselves. It's normalized. These things are normalized when this thing was not a thing. And the knowing, I want to come down here, it went from multiple things, not just for a sexual relation, but there was a link between sex and procreation, which is why when he talked about Balaam, he was like, when Balak was coming to Balaam, he was like, look, man, there's too many of these niggas. I don't like the fact that there's so many of these niggas out here, and we need to cut them off. And because then Balaam said, go in and pervert them in sex. Why? Because this is how the nations get built. And if you pervert the building process, then everything that they build is going to be tearing down. As you see here, let's go to, I'm going to give y'all a few examples. And then right here in Genesis 4:1, Adam knew his wife and she conceived and bare Cain. So here, this knowing, this knew is talking about sexual intercourse. And as a result, children. Again, come down here with Cain. Cain knew his wife and she conceived and bare Enoch. There was always procreation involved. This is the expanding of the kingdom. The first thing that the Most High said to his creation was be fruitful and multiply. Expand, grow. He designed everything to be self-expansive, that you can basically everything rebuilds after its kind. That is the proper order of Yah. And if we know now, look at the current modern society. What do we say about kids? And again, I'm especially within the millennials. I am an elder millennial, born in the 80s, 84. Born in the 80s, 1984. I will be 42 this year. And I have the hardest time with fighting that old original nature of that has been given to us about not wanting kids. And it's not that I don't want kids. It's not that I don't like children. It is because to have a child, you have to go through a woman. And with the current state of the woman, I don't want to deal with that. And that is a thing that has been pushed into men, but into women, they've pushed, oh, you don't want kids. You want kids because they'll mess up your career. Kids mess up what you want to do. You want to travel. You want to have things. You want to get money. You want to get the bag. You want to have all these nice, expensive things that were made by gay men that really aren't that expensive. They're just cheap things that we throw little labels on and stuff like that. That is the thing that has been fed to us. So these things have been fed to us from a young age that they literally have become mild, like stones within our soul. These foundations, these flawed foundations that we stand on. Because we don't even realize that this mess comes from a demonic nature. Humankind was made to procreate. We were made to make more children. Sex was designed for the man and the woman. As you see down here, in every situation where it talks about knowing in regards to sexual intercourse, it was done and it was always showing kids. We come down a little bit more because knowing was a euphemism that they used for sex and having kids. So let me see here. Let me come down to here is another one. This is in Genesis 24:16 when Isaac what's his name, Eleazar was sent by Abram to find a bride for Isaac. So this is Sarah that this is Rebecca that Eleazar is looking upon in 24:16, and it said the damsel was fair to look upon, a virgin, neither had any man known her. No man looked upon her nakedness. No man saw her in her naked parts. To give you an example, I'm going to show you, this is Ethiopian, and I use Ethiopia because shout out to Ethiopia. They've never been colonized, so they retain a lot of their old ways. And you see how the women here are dressed. You see how even the men, but how the women are dressed and how they present themselves, how they are in their everyday walk and everyday attire. This is another Ethiopian woman in her everyday attire. She has her head covered in a modest way. She's wearing modest clothing that doesn't shit up all tight on her. Not mind you, you got a shape, you're gonna have a shape, but you don't gotta wear stuff that accent it. I know women gonna say, oh, if you got a big old booty, you can't do nothing to hide it. Stop the cap. You're making excuses. You're making excuses. It's just like when dudes that's buff know that they get a shirt that's 2 sizes too small and they want to wear their little brother's shirt and they be walking around with every little pectoral detail. Nah, bro, you out here drawing lust on you know exactly what you're doing. You can be proud of your gains and still wear a shirt that fits properly, my guy. Your shoulder and your physique still gonna show through properly fitting clothes. You ain't gotta let every little ab and muscle be shown, my guy. You ain't gotta let all that be shown. You ain't got to go out and wear the gray sweatpants with the super tight gray sweatpants. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You ain't got to do all that. You don't have to do all of this type of stuff, but this is normalized in our Western society. Look at here, another woman in her traditional dress and attire. Again, she's not showing off everything, not showing. These is, again, more women from Ethiopia in their traditional dress. These young girls over here are in more of a closer aligned Western dress, which is still like, offset on some, it's tame compared to what we see over here today. This lady here, properly dressed with her daughter, teaching her from the time that she is young, properly attired and dressed. This is how our people carried themselves. You see here, no, that's not, I don't know what that is. I clicked on the wrong one. My bad, y'all. I meant click on right here. This one right here, again, out and about in their proper attire and dress. No man knows how she looks. They don't know every creak and crack and crevice of her. They don't know that she got a mole up under her left chest or she got a mark on her left butt cheek or nothing like that. They don't know nothing about that. The only man, when a woman is born, that should have seen her naked is her daddy. This is because he is your covering. He's raising you up. He bathed you. He helped, put clothes on your body and stuff like that. And even then, after you grow to a certain point, he don't start looking at you like that no more. You know what I'm saying? It's like, after you leave a child, man, he don't even look at you like that no more because it's not decent. So women didn't present themselves in an indecent manner. Even when, I always tell y'all, I watch a lot of these different Chinese shows and stuff. One of the big things is like, if a woman, even if she wasn't naked, she would just be in an attire that was less than, that would just show more than normal. Like pretty much what most women wear today is normal clothes. Most women would wear that like going to a bathhouse that's private, like they'd be amongst only other women and things like that. They didn't dress in a way that revealed all their shoulders and all their cleavage and all their legs. Your thing be all high up on your legs. No, they didn't do that. They dressed with an appropriate modesty. You see everybody out here modestly dressed. You didn't have all this skin showing, all that flesh that was out there. We've been normalized into this nasty, dysfunctional way of being where sex is on pure display, on pure just shown for everything. So that is what it meant when he said that no man had known her. She was a virgin. No man had seen her secret parts. No man had come and been all up in that before. And this is a thing that we have normalized today. And I'm not saying this because again, we've all fallen short. So I'm not saying this as a way of condemnation. I'm saying this as a way of we need to do better. And again, this is coming from this side of the ether to where y'all are right there. I'm saying this for myself and everybody. We have to do better in regarding this sacred covenant that we take for granted, even as born again folks. And then I remember I seen on one of the posts that Teo had on YouTube, or not YouTube, Facebook, that he was talking about, the proper place of a woman and different things like that, and talking about polygyny. And I seen this one dude who I could tell he probably had camp leanings, because I always hear this from these dudes that come from this camp, because they lead with lust. And like, oh, well, what's wrong with the Most High giving us our natural desire? And, oh, we got this desire, and this we want to look upon beautiful things, and blah, 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 blah. Having multiple wives wasn't just because you wanted to have sex with multiple women. It was a cultural thing to build a community. There was actually an Ethiopian woman that I saw on I forget whether YouTube or where I was looking at when I just be traveling on the internet gathering information, and she straight up said it. She was like, if my husband didn't get married and doesn't want to take on another wife, she's like, I am not trying, I don't want to do it. She said, I don't want to do it because having the multiple women in the marriage wasn't just about, oh, I get to have sex all the time with different women. It was about building a family. It was about building a large family. So you would have a community. That woman had 5 kids. There's 2 other women or 1 other woman or however many, depending upon however rich the man was to do so, that he could afford. Because again, you had to make sure every woman didn't go without. So you had to make sure they all were treated equally. And that was about building, because when she had kids, if she gets tired, guess what? My sister wife over here, she can come and help and hand out and, help with things, and I can chill. Hey, it may be a day where I may be incapacitated and I can't tend to my husband physically. I have another woman to help me tend to my husband physically. That's the mindset that these women that go into polygyny have. The mindset that, again, men have is that the first thing is, I want a big family. There was a man I seen, I think he was in Kenya. I can't remember. I want to say it was Kenya. He had a huge family. He had like 3 or 4 wives. He was a very, very wealthy man living in the village. And he had like a big plots of land. All the wives had their own hut, but there was like a general area where everybody hung out. And that's where they all helped each other. And that's what it was talking about, how they all worked together and they helped each other with the family. It was building a family. It was about building the future. That's the key thing for what it was about, building the future. So these women came in with the mindset that I am here to aid this man in building the future. I am here to have children and to be the molding for those children and to building the future. My mother helped my father, and when raising us and bringing us together, my dad provided the provision and that manhood and that leadership and guidance that allowed her to function in her role. And because she didn't have to worry about all that other stuff, she didn't have to worry about going. And that was something that she fought with. Don't get it twisted. My mom was, had the same mindset like most women today. Her and my dad were both working. And I remember, y'all bless my grandmother on my mama's side. She, was telling her, hey, you sending your kids over here and over there. Cause we used to go to my grandma's house on my dad's side whenever something, whenever it was, just they wanted to go out, or whenever they picked up jobs and stuff, because sometimes they would work 2 separate jobs and whatnot. My dad did this contracting thing for a while, that him and my mom would go in and they would like clean buildings and stuff, and that usually happens at night. So they would send us to my grandma's house while they would go out and do that work, and that was extra money for them. So they was trying to stack, they were stacking their paper, and my mom told my grandma like, nah, I want to have things. I want to, me and my dad's name was Chester. She was like, me and him, we want to have things, and we want to do these things and have these things together. And then my grandma said, do you want your kids being raised with your spirit or the spirit of the people that was around them? Now, thank y'all, my mom had enough wisdom to pay attention and see, because I tell y'all straight up, most of the perversion and sexual nonsense that I saw came from my grandma's house. That was the first time I saw Skinemax, over at my grandma's house. They talk about all kinds of crazy stuff over at my grandma's house on my dad's side. That's where the source of all the foolishness that I was exposed to came from, over there. Because in my mom and my dad's house, we ain't do that. We didn't live that way. We didn't have those channels and stuff like that. And when we did, my mom and my dad and my mom made sure, hey, after a certain time, y'all turn them TVs off and go to bed. Ain't no watching no TV after a certain amount of time. Y'all go to bed. There ain't nothing good on the TV after this time anyway. So soon as you saw Nick at Night, soon as MASH came on, you already knew. You be watching your show and then you hear that time to go to bed. It's time to go to bed. It ain't time for this mess right here. It's time to go to bed. So she recognized and she listened to the wisdom of my mom, my grandmother, and it is why I'm even standing here before y'all to this day. Why I can stand here as a man of Yah who was raised by the Most High, from godly parents to this day. That I don't have kids. I didn't raise and create bastards, because my father broke that curse of the bastard, and because my mom supported him with that by feeding us the word. She was his help. See, my dad broke the curse, but my mom was the aid that came in and gave us the word that helped secure that thing. They worked together. She was an aid, his succor. She aided him. They didn't always get along. They didn't always get it, do things. But my mom always made sure she let us know that my dad was the man of the house. And no matter what beef she may have had with him, she said, your father is a good father. And this is when we got older, when I'm older and stuff. And I started seeing things and stuff. And she would tell me some things. She would always say, hey, this between me and your dad, that's your father. You love him. And he's a good father. He's a good man. She's like, this is just beef between us. This is just a little thing that we got going on. This is what happens in marriage. But that man is a good man, and you honor and you love your father. She never, ever undermined my father. Never did no mess to try to undermine him and not allow him to move as the man of the household. She never did that crap. Never, ever. And the fact that we as children are blessed is a result of that union that they had together, that togetherness and raising us along the ways of the Most High. This is what they have destroyed in this modern context, because now women are raised to be independent. You got to be away. See, the snake still comes to the woman, and he still comes with the same thing. You can be like God. What do most modern chicks say? Oh, men don't worship women no more. Oh, I need a man to worship me. Heifer, why do you need to be? Ain't nobody worshiping you. What you talking about? And we worship no man. The only man we worship was the one that was manifested in the flesh. Yah manifested in the flesh, Yahushua HaMashiach. That is the only man that we worship and bow down to. That is our king. That is Yah manifested in the flesh, his avatar in the earth. That is the man we bow down to. We don't bow down to no woman. We don't bow down to no nonsense that y'all be on. All this stuff that is pushed out into the system is anti-establishment, is anti-Yah establishment. Yah established the woman to be a help, and they have taken that away and have turned you into what we are warned about in Proverbs 2. Actually, let me come over here. Before I go to Proverbs 2, I'm going to go to 1 Corinthians, and I'm going to show you, go in here. This is a scripture we talk about a lot, but I don't think we really, it's like, it was one of those Christianisms that we hear about, because Christianity, when it comes to marriage, they don't teach you that. They teach the men. They always tell men, oh, you got to be a provider. Oh, you gotta love that woman, and you got to do it for they teach a perverted, backwards, twisted relationship where a man is relegated to his wallet and what he do, and the woman basically just sit there and wait for a man to come and just give her stuff. She don't got to do nothing. She submits, quote unquote, but they don't even talk about that no more. Like that's old fashioned. I have never heard any modern church talk about that. I've heard older churches from older folks talk about that kind of stuff, but women ain't coming to them type of churches. These mega churches, they coming in there telling you live your best life, chase the bag and get this, and God's going to help you this. They literally teaching paganism with a Bible twist, with all this nonsense. 1 Corinthians 6, and I'm going to start at 14, and I'm going to start at 15. Know ye not that your bodies are members of Yahusha? Shall I then take the members of Yahusha and make them the members of a harlot? Yah forbid. What? Know ye not that which is joined to a harlot is one body? For two, saith he, shall be one flesh. This is, again, Paul is the most misquoted, misunderstood dude in the entire Bible. I always want to say in history. Like, after the Messiah, Paul is probably a close second for like most misunderstood, most misquoted, and most just malaligned man whose work has just been twisted to nonsense, because he's literally quoting Torah right here. He's literally letting, and mind you, he's talking to Gentiles and telling them in Gentile nations about what to do. So we now, not Gentile, rather the foreign nations, the nations that were foreigners, the different cultures that were strangers to the Hebrews that were trying to follow the ways of Yah. We are practically those people now, because we have been raised in pure Babylonian filth. We don't understand what modesty is. We don't understand what these things are. It's normal for you to walk outside and to see a chick with half her booty cheeks hanging out and almost everything but her. I remember this one time I was getting Chinese food, and this lady walked in, and I'm like, she was practically naked. She was practically naked. Like, her pants may as well not have even been there. I could see just about everything. I had to turn my back and go look the other way because she was just sloppy and all over the place, and she had kids with her. This is the nonsense, because as a kid, you see this, and this is normal to you. You see this, and this is normalized because the dysfunction is normalized to us. So we hear these things, but we still go back to normalized dysfunction instead of actively fighting against it in our minds, in our actions, and even in our close community society, around us. We may not be able to influence everybody else, but you can influence yourself and what you do. And that's how it starts, within you and your mindset and what you do. And you'll find that, you may start falling off and have people falling off from you, but that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Bad company corrupts good manners. If they don't want to be around you, that's because your light is shining so bright they can't be around you. So this is the thing. You cannot be afraid of losing some folks. You can't be afraid of not getting that. And even as men, they always tell men, what's the word they say in like the little male group thing now? You're good for the crew. She's fun for the she's a fun time. She's not meant for all the time. No. Don't join to a harlot. If you see that she's a 304, you know that she's moving like a 304. Why in the world would you join yourself with her and then walk away and be like, nah, she ain't good enough to marry, but I'll satisfy my lust with her? You've just joined to this chick. You've made yourself one body. Just what he said here in 16. What? Know ye not that he which is joined to a harlot is one body? For two saith he shall be one flesh. But he that is joined unto the Lord is one spirit. Flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body, but he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body. What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the the Ruach HaKodesh, which is in you, which ye have of Yah, which ye are not your own, for ye are bought with a price. Therefore glorify Yah in your body and in your spirit, which are Yah's. When he says here in 19, your body is the temple of the Ruach HaKodesh, when Israel used to fall into this nasty worship, into all this other stuff and all these other things, and I'm going to touch on one in a little bit here. They always had this temple worship. See, pornography is not new, y'all. Pornography just used to be you had to go to the temple. If y'all remember the story of your boy that had what's his name, Gomer with Hosea. Where did Hosea have to go? He had to go into all these different dens and all these different places to pull her out because she was playing the harlot. That was the Most High using his life with that woman to show what the Hebrews were doing to him. Man, shout out to my man Hosea. That's a calling I wouldn't want. But unfortunately, most of us men today are living Hosea's life. Because what we did as the heads to the Most High, back when our ancestors did, rather, we are suffering for what they did because they played harlot to them, which is why in Genesis 28, that's why it says you will betroth a woman, but another man has lined with her. How many of y'all were virgins when you got married? I know it was a very, very small few, and it's probably mainly amongst our older elders where that was a thing. Very, very, very. I know amongst the millennials, I would be shocked to find an honest, real to God millennial woman that's a virgin in this day and age. I will be shocked. I'm sure there are some. I'm sure the Most High has his own laid apart, just like he told our boy Elijah after he had got finished having some fricasseed Baal priests that bro, chill out. I got some folks in reserve. I know there's some folks he got hidden away in reserve. So I'm not gonna say there's none, but the numbers aren't good. The numbers are terrible. And that goes for men too, because we join ourselves with harlots. That means we are basically, we always want to look down on it from one side, but as a man, it's bad for you too. It doesn't have the same, it affects us differently, but at the end of the day, it all still is a negative effect. It is negative. To go into the soul part of how this whole thing works, when you join together, what he's talking about being one flesh, that thing literally goes down into your soul. When you read the book, again, I refer back to my the book about the soul. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but the soul is within your blood. Your blood carries an electrical charge. In other medicine, in other Eastern countries and stuff, they actually call that charge chi. That's why in your heart there's a organ called the sinusoidal. I want to say a sinusoidal or there's a sinusoidal organ that actually applies a charge that helps to not only pump, cause your heart to contract to do the pumping, but it adds a charge even into your blood. There's a charge in your meridians or your arteries that basically suspends your blood to help it flow through your body. It even, if you know anything about like magnetism, like with they talk about maglev trains, when you have alternating magnetic polarities, you can drive things. That's how those, what they call magnetic levitation trains. They use magnets, electromagnets, to hover the train and to move it along the track. That is essentially the same premise that happens within your blood. The heart pumps it and that provides some movement, but the electrical charge is what helps move your blood through your body. So there is an inherent electricity within your blood. That's why it's made up of all the different things that you find in circuits and all the stuff like that. If you look at the components of blood and then look at the components in certain types of electronics and stuff, you find a lot of similarities, like copper and all these other different things that are used in different electronics. So when it comes time to have sexual relations, what happens? The blood rushes to the man's penis. The blood rushes to the lips on the woman's vagina. There is a massing of blood. So when the two come together, everybody I'm sure has used wireless chargers. As a matter of fact, I will, let me see here. There we go. I want to see if I can find one. Actually, let's do this. Wireless charger taken. And so, I know a lot of times I come in and I go on these asides, but these are things that come to my mind as I'm talking, and I want to show y'all to help better bring about an understanding. So this is a fast charger station. This is all there is inside of a fast charger. So what you see here and what you're looking at are coiled. As a matter of fact, let me open this and open it in a new tab so y'all can see it better. Actually, I just want to open the image in a new tab. I don't want to open the Reddit page. There we go. So what we have here is a wireless charger. And what you're seeing is, you see those cables are down here. They're connected to the little base, and there's a bunch of coils together. These are all copper coils. When you coil copper like this, and when you run electricity through it, it generates a magnetic field. They have these layered on like this because it's a fast charger. So that way, when you layer more coils, the more coils of copper that you have, the stronger the magnetic field. So that's why they have these layers, so they can create a strong magnetic field. Then within your phone, in the back of the base where it charges, there's also a ring similar to like this. And that ring is the receptor. So when this one has the charge, that magnetic field gets generated and emanates out. Electricity doesn't travel in the wire. We're taught that, it's ions that go in and it's not the wire that carries the electricity. It's literally just what facilitates the magnetic field, and the magnetic field is what carries the energy. That's where you always hear me talk about yin and yang. They are both different, but yet the same. You need one for the other. This is the basis of all of Yah's creation. I encourage you sometimes to just take a deep dive into creation and try to understand the things that you use and the things that happen out. You don't have to go in and become a engineer and a chemist and stuff, but having a gradual understanding really helps you appreciate the Yah that you serve, and it helps you to see analogs in life than things that are going on. So when you put your phone against this charger, the magnetic field that's generated carries that electrical charge, and it gets into the phone, and that's how your phone takes it, and then it takes that electricity and puts it into your battery. That's how your phone gets recharged like that. This is the same premise within a sexual connection. That man has all his blood coming down there, that charged blood. The woman has her blood also coming down there. The woman receives not only the semen from the man, but there is a spiritual exchange. There is an exchange that comes from the blood. It may not be a physical blood manifestation that comes down, but it comes in the connection. There is an adding into your spirit. That man implants himself into your spirit. This is why you see in Proverbs where they say, don't give your strength unto a woman. For King Lemuel, the story of King Lemuel with his mom telling him, don't give your strength unto a woman. That's a multi-level phrase that she said. It's not only in ceding your power by just basically being a simp and letting a woman step all over you and let this happy wife, happy life nonsense. And this is the other crap that they've done to undermine this happy wife, happy life. That ain't that happy wife, happy life. What? No, the woman is not the center of the relationship. The man and the woman together are, and the way they work together, they are different. Just like the cable and the magnetism is different. The man and the woman are different, but they work together to create a result. It is a yin and a yang. As a matter of fact, even in Chinese culture, I think the man is considered, the woman is considered yang, and the man is considered yin. No, is the woman yin? It's one or the other. The woman is considered yin and the man is considered yang. They talk about man energy and female energy, and they talk about it as yin and yang. Again, showing that the two come together to bring about new things like new life, the children. Also, the man feeds into that woman. The woman takes from that man. That's why afterwards the man is usually tired and you go to sleep. You've given out not only physical energy, but you've literally given of yourself. This is why when David was trying to cover his tracks with our boy Uriah, when he had took his wife, he was like, nah, I'm not gonna go and sleep with the woman because I'm going back to war. It's not just because I didn't want to go and, be dishonorable with my wife, while my dudes is out here, suffering. It's also because I know I'm finna go fight a battle and I need my strength. There was always seen in all these various cultures, they would always tell the men not to go into your women before a battle because you need your strength. This is why that if you don't masturbate as a man for a long time, you find that you got a lot of mental clarity. You find that you got a lot of strength. You've got there's a lot more energy in you to be creative and to do the things that you do because you're not expelling your strength out for nonsense. You're not expelling your strength in a different way. There is something that comes up out of you, not just the things that we obviously know, but it is a spiritual giving. And the woman is a receptacle. She receives, just like your phone receives that charge and puts it into the battery. She receives from that man and puts it into her battery. Now look at the nonsense that they put where you have all these women. Some women out there have had hundreds of men that they've lain with. And then they wonder why they're never happy. Their emotions are all wrecked. They're all jacked up because you are a jumble in your soul. You've accepted all this jumbled up stuff from all these various men that you have to jumble through all that dysfunction to find your true soul. And they understand this. This is why they push this mess. They don't want us to cover the earth like we did before. And what this does is it creates a cursed generation. Because now you're creating bastards. Now those bastards don't have a solid foundation because they were born under the curse. And unless Most High Yah steps in and helps break that thing off of them and helps remove some of those paths and those curses, they end up in the same cycle. Very few people come up out of the hood with these hood nonsense and come up, in a better way because most of the folks get stuck in this cycle of nonsense that we were born into because this is the things that have been put into your soul before you were born. A lot of us were sabotaged before we even came out of the womb. We were sabotaged. And this is their plan, to have a self-sustaining slave farm where Hebrews make more Hebrews to be good slaves that they can use and manipulate, but you are born under a curse, so you'll never come back and move into your former estate that you came from. They don't want us to have multiple numbers. They don't want us to have lots of kids. This is why they always pushing, don't have kids. Oh, kids is this and this and that. Oh, why do you think the stuff for children costs so much? That's not an accident. It's not an accident that things for kids cost so much. Why do you think that they dismiss and do everything they can to poison the bodies of women so they have to use this nasty formula as opposed to using what the Most High gave them in their bodies, the natural milk? Because these are snares set up at multiple levels. It is not using this word for this because it's demonically genius. The setup that they said it is an effective trap that loops upon itself, that you don't even have to put too much energy into it, but here and there, you just kind of, it's like once the flame is going, all you got to do is just add a stick. When you already got a big fire going, there's not too much. You just wave it, you fan the flames for the fire. Little energy is needed. The fire burns and sustains itself. If you see something going where something might not be going your way, you add a couple logs to the fire and then boom. The logs to the fire are these different accounts we see online or these different TV shows. I want to show y'all something. This channel here is called Shattered Paradise. I encourage y'all to not only subscribe to their channel. I'm not signed in here, but I am subscribed to my when I'm under my Big Red account. I'm just not subscribed here, so don't think I'm being I'm being hypocritical. Shattered Paradise is dope. Absolutely dope. I love them. This man and woman couple, they bring out so much richness, so much goodness about this culture and in this Babylon that we live in. It is so blessed to see them. And I encourage y'all to not only subscribe to them, but I also encourage y'all to join their Patreon. They got a link to their Patreon in their different videos and stuff like that they have. Their Patreon has even like most of the videos you see here are like the kind of cut short versions Because when they start talking about the real meat and potatoes, YouTube it gets stupid. Because again, this is how you maintain when you have a flame going and you see rain is coming in to put out your flames. What do? You put something to cover that fire to keep that fire going. You do something to isolate the fire from the rain that will put out the fire. So when the rain from Yah is coming from this blessed couple, then they bring about their shade, which is their algorithm and their YouTube nonsense to fight against it. So they put most of the full videos on their Patreon. I advise y'all to all grow. I think it's like $5 a month. It is worth it. It is absolutely worth it. They are a blessed couple. Y'all should bless their ministry and bless them. I highly recommend them. But I'm going to play this real quick. This one excerpt what they had from this video here is called Delilah's Dance, the retaliation ritual. And there's a key point that I want to bring out here to show you how they have used their new systems and things to keep the flames of this fornication and this rebellion against the natural order of Yah going. So I'm gonna play this. Now let me know. Give me ones if you hear it when I play. If you hear it, give me ones. If you're not hearing it, give me twos, and then I'll adjust it.
Standing atop the grandiose New York State Courthouse is a shimmering golden 8-foot female sculpture emerging from a pink lotus flower and wearing Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg's signature lace collar.
Though in the inverted world of mainstream media, the cover story claims that this golden idol was erected in honor of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, it is more likely that Ruth Bader Ginsburg was appointed judge in honor of the entities behind the idol and not the other way around.
Spiritual wickedness in high places, in high places, in high places.
It is clear, when you examine the form of this idol, it is not depicting a human being, but a spirit. Perhaps the spirits that inhabited Supreme Court Justice RBG.
Frankly, I had thought that at the time Roe was decided, there was concern about population growth, and particularly growth in populations that we don't want to have to.
I'm gonna pause it right here real quick. See, this is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. For those that know who she was a big proponent on this Roe versus Wade nonsense. And for those that also don't know about eugenics was designed primarily to keep us in check. Remember what they were telling Balaam? There's too many of them niggas. I don't like that there's too many of them niggas. We were numerous. There was lots of us. The land that we had was not confined into what they call this current day present Israel. There was too many of us to fit in that little bit of sliver of land. There's tons of us, and they don't want things to return to that.
Too many of. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, United States Supreme Court Justice, July 2009.
And then you heard what she said. She said, we don't want particular growth in populations that we don't want to have too many of. Who was that population back in Balaam's day when Balak was trying to do it? Who was that population? All right.
When it comes to exposing eugenics in modern America, that quote by Ruth Bader Ginsburg is the smoking gun. I mean, here is the most radical advocate of legalized abortion that's ever been on the Supreme Court, openly admitting in the New York Times that the real issue was never women's rights or privacy or reproductive freedom or being pro-choice. No, what she is saying is that the driving force behind making abortion legal was to exterminate certain groups of people.
Now, don't they always tell you that it's for women, that it's for reclaiming your bodies, it's for freedom, it's taking yourself away from the burdens of man? They give you all these flowery nonsense that really, even though in and of themselves, takes you away from the natural order that the Most High created, but it also creates this new system of keeping us limited in number.
In other words, it was the Supreme Court's way of legitimizing a philosophy that's been pushed for the last 150 years by these ultra-wealthy elitists who believe they have the right to eliminate anyone that they have decided is inferior.
Frankly, I had thought that at the time Roe was decided, there was concern about population growth, and particularly growth in populations that we don't want to have too many of.
And Planned Parenthood became the golden child of these people because they're the ones who figured out how to put this philosophy into practice. It was Planned Parenthood who figured out that the way to make eugenics work is not to kill people, but to convince the targeted group to commit cultural suicide. And the way you do that is with birth control and abortion. And Planned Parenthood has been successful at this because, unlike other eugenics organizations, they have always been able to keep their agenda hidden, not only from the public, but often from their own people. I mean, there are Planned Parenthood employees and volunteers all over this country who I'm convinced have no idea what they're actually mixed up in. But when Ruth Bader Ginsburg said what she said in July of 2009, she let the cat out of the bag. She made it clear that abortion was legalized in order to eliminate people that she and other elitists just like her don't want there to be too many of. And I think we all know who they're talking about.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a Jewish Supreme Court judge, was possessed with a murderous spirit opposed to the reproductive potential of the Israelites. Aligned with the teachings of Margaret Sanger, who was in league with the KKK, she worked to blot out the seed line of Yasharel.
She played a pivotal role in defending Roe v. Wade, which is a big part of what they refer to as second and third wave feminism. And I believe they are now on the 666th wave of so-called feminism.
See that nonsense that they got? I'm gonna let it finish.
We have experienced many decades now of having agency over our body, of being able to determine when and how many children to have. We know what that feels like. We know what that's done for our lives. We're not going back. I don't care what the laws are. We're not going back.
See, this is that twisted, sick show called The View. And again, the TV is the media is their primary proponent in keeping us in nonsense. The media is their primary way of keeping us in this. You've seen this Jane Fonda with this rebellious declaration that, we control our body. We don't want to have kids. I had to apologize to my ex because I was a proponent for using birth control because I'm like, I ain't trying to have no kids. I want to have time. We want to have this, that. So I didn't want that. So I actually encouraged her to get on birth control and to use these types of things. And birth control is actually technology that came from the Fallen Watchers. This is something that when you read in the book of Enoch that they used to do. Actually, this it was in, I want to say Jubilees. I want to say it's in Jubilees where you read about how a pregnant woman's body was detestable to them. Again, what's new is old. This is nothing new. This is the same demonic system as it was in the days of Noah. They were doing the same thing when the Most High flooded these niggas out. And by these niggas, I mean us, humankind. We were the ones. We picked up the mantle. By that, after the Most High locked up them fallen angels and rid himself of their kids and stuff, humanity was still left alone, but they were still following and ruling in that mess that the angels left. And they didn't go away from it. Noah was preaching and trying to get folks away from it. No, but they were doing what they were preaching. One of the things at that time was a woman's pregnant body was detestable. They couldn't stand a woman being pregnant. Like the men at that time were brainwashed that they didn't want pregnant women. So women would have these birth controls, or they would basically have abortions to keep their bodies intact. So they didn't have children. They kept themselves intact. We see this even with Beyonce, in her situation with her baby. Anybody who's paid attention to that situation and have seen that one interview, I think she was over in France and she did an interview and she kneeled down to sit and she had her baby bump, quote unquote, bend while she was sitting in a way that it should not have been. And you even kind of see the look on her face afterwards, like, oh crap, did anybody see that? Like the look on her face real quick, like, oh. She didn't have that baby. I'm quite sure that baby had their genes and all that stuff that they did. They used it in the future. They used another woman to carry that baby because they want to keep her body is a product. And they wanted to keep her body in a way that it would be attractive. So they say. Honestly, personally, my personal opinion, a woman's body after that she has kids is honestly beautiful. I think any man on here will tell you that stretch marks are a beautiful thing, especially Hebrew man. Like stretch marks are beautiful. When a woman has stretch marks after children, that's a sign that hey, she's fruitful. She didn't have some children. That's not a bad thing. but they push these unrealistic standards. They show you these women shaped like little boys and tell you this is beauty. Not saying that being the exact opposite of being a huge land whale is the goal. No, there's a way of being healthy, but you still, like, women are just designed. It's even if you understand like physiology and understand biology, women are naturally designed to have more fat on their body than men. So trying to get a woman down to zero fat is counterproductive to her creation. It's not how she is built to work. She can't work out the same way a man work out. She has to do things different from a man. I've heard so many different people that I've talked to in recent times that talk about how they started finding out that I need to work out different. As you know, this is women telling me I need to work out different. I need to do things differently. I need to do things according to my cycles. I need to do things. They've taken women out of your natural balance. They've taken men out of the natural balance because they've taken our relief, they've taken our help out of the natural balance and weaponized it against us. Proverbs 2:16. To deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flattereth with her words. Let's break this down. Again, they do the same dumb thing. The word Isha is actually, it means woman or wife, and they've made one word and they've combined two phrases out of it. So let's kind of read this from the way that it's supposed to be. When I'll work with this and we'll break this down. This word nasal means to snatch away, to deliver. Okay, so it's saying to deliver you from a woman. Okay, so you're getting delivered from a woman that is strange. This word zor means strange, a stranger, a strange woman, a prostitute, a harlot. Okay, all right, that's making sense. So you get delivered from the woman who is estranged, from the woman who is a harlot. Again, we're not going to read that again because these were added words that were added in. Then we got this word here, nakri or nakri, means foreign, alien. So again, he's saving you from the foreign woman. This is also why they told us not to deal with foreign nations, because those nations had practices that were sexually perverse. And these women were raised into that. And the women were always the key to coming in, because if your woman wants to go and spin around a maypole, she's not going to give you rest. She's going to bring it like with Samson. Delilah grieved that joker until he finally broke down and told her what it was. Now, he should have known. You would think that any person in common sense would have known, but I'm quite sure, a woman has a way. See, a woman isn't physically strong. She uses her mouth, her words, her wisdom. This is why wisdom is personified as a woman. A woman using her wisdom. The way a woman moves is different. This is why you see a lot of chicks now, when the way they move and all this type of stuff, they use their wisdom for the wrong thing. They be out here using all this stuff that they do for just filth and perversion and for nonsense. The white man takes advantage of this mess because he puts you behind the work at his job, and you go there faithfully because you're trying to chase the bag and get the bag. So you're going to go in there and you're going to do what he say, and you're going to build up that firm, or you're going to build up that business, or you're going to build up whatever office and be the best at your office and be number one, because that is what's in you. You submit to the men at that job, but then you'll come home and give that husband crap if you have one. Or if you don't have one, you'll come around and be like, ain't no man gonna tell me what to do. But if your boss say, hey, I need you to work a little extra because we got to work on this project, you there with bells on, and you there gonna give your number one star performance because you know that that's gonna get you that bag. You submit to the money, and by effort, you submit to the authority of this realm. This is the backwardsness that they got. So this is why he said, don't mess with the stranger. The stranger, which flattereth, here's this word here, she divides, she allots, she plunders, appropriation, assign. What is it? To divide, to apportion, to assign, to distribute, to divide, to assign, to be smooth, slippery, deceitful, to flatter. She uses her words and her flattery to take you out of the place where you are. She flatters, she deceives with her words. I am Isis, the role of the speech in the cult of Isis. In ancient Egyptian texts, no deity speaks more than Isis, the goddess who was depicted as interacting with other deities as well as her followers through speech. Speech. She used her words. This article goes into deep details of how she talked. She basically had a mean talk game, and she was one of the ones who interacted with all the other pantheons as a way of talking and moving and getting things. Isis also was one, if you know what was Osiris, where this whole situation happened, which I'm gonna read this one here. And shout out to this, this dude and a lot of other Anglos, they're starting to manifest that part in the word where the Most High said they'll wake up and say, we have inherited lies. And I've noticed a lot more Anglo descent folks that's coming out with truths, that's actually telling the truth about their own culture and the own ways of things and how things work and function and how these things aren't what we're told and all this kind of stuff. So, shout out to this dude on here. I chose this article because he did a perfect breakdown of what this is. So we're going to talk about the maypole. You'll see how all this ties in. The month of May was named for the Greek goddess Maya, who was identified with the Roman era goddess of fertility, Bona Dea, whose festival was held in May. Mind you, this all goes back to Isis. This is what they call all the different deities all come from the same place. The syncretism. It's called syncretism, where they all sync up. All of in Africa, there's a deity called Shogo who has a hammer and he commands lightning, and that's the same joke. Now that should immediately trigger Marvel in your head because that's your boy Thor. That's the same thing. Like this all the same. Remember, all of mankind spoke one language before. There was one language before the fall of Babel. And during Babel, that when they all got separated, that's when they all took those gods that they all worshiped the same, and they all gave them different names because they had different tongues, but all of the features and all of the representation of those gods all still align all into the same thing. So you'll hear different names from Greek, Roman, all these different ethnicities and stuff, but they all wind down back into these foundational Babylonian, Egyptian by actually Egyptian and by association Babylonian gods. So whose festival was held in May, which is the month of autumn in the southern hemisphere, and spring in the northern hemisphere. During the month of May, in many places around the world, there are various festivals celebrated by playing music, singing, and dancing around what we now call the maypole. And this is a picture of the maypoles. How they have. They used to do this in the schools I went in as well. So they mainly let the girls go around the maypole. And in addition to the music, singing, and dancing, there's also climbing contests to see who can climb the king's phallus. The maypole was a design as the phallus of the king. The phallus, climb the phallus the fastest, with loads of beer as the big prize. These poles are erected on or around the first day of May, with festivities lasting all throughout the month, and in particular on May Day. The maypole is actually an ancient symbol of fertility and also the Egyptian god and king Osiris's phallus. And here's a picture of Osiris with his phallus. The maypole is a modern-day portable ancient phallic symbol that is meant to represent the male generative powers in the phallus, which is really just an idol or an image of an erect penis. They have been worshipped for thousands of years as a reminder of the sacred act of sex. See, sex was a sacred act, but it's perverted here. They've done nothing but take things that the Most High created and made them sacred and good and just pervert them in every level. And also represents the phallus of the kings who rule the world. They are also called obelisks and can be found all throughout the world in places such as Egypt, Ethiopia, India, Rome, where there are 8 ancient Egyptian and 5 ancient Roman obelisks, and in America with the phallus of the first Mosaic president, George Washington, more commonly known today as the Washington Monument. Yes, the Washington Monument is a giant phallic representation of this nonsense. And there's tons of obelisks in America. If you ever just do a Google search for obelisks in America, you'll be shocked. There's a lot. I did one day and I was like, I just thought the Washington Monument was the one. There's lots more all around. I mean, there's a place in America called Cairo. And no, according to all them folks, they say, we that's because we was from here and America is really the land and this was really Egypt no, none of that. This is all copying because there's also obelisks in Rome, present-day Rome. There's obelisks in various parts of other European cities. This is a worldwide thing because this is the system that we're under, a Babylonian system. Remember, it was the whore in Revelation. She was the great whore that sat on many waters, and all the nations of the earth drank in her whoredoms. This is that example. The original story is from ancient Egypt when Osiris's body was cut into 14 pieces and Pharaoh Seth scattered them all over Egypt, in which his wife Isis retrieved all of them except one, his penis, which was swallowed by a fish. The king Osiris, who represents the so below and as above in the king of planets, Jupiter, who was now dead, and here is a depiction of him with his penis in the symbol of such a tau cross, which is the what they call the Ankh to this day, which is also another sexual phallic symbol that a lot of folks just be getting tattooed on them and making bonds in their soul and don't even understand what this mess is. And again, you're seeing it set up just the same way, where the erect penis is like a doggone obelisk. This is when the queen Isis, whose name means throne or she of the throne, would take the place of the true king. I'm going to say this again. This is when Queen Isis, whose name means throne or she of the throne, would take the place of the true king. In Greco-Egypt, she was sometimes called the dark goddess. Y'all remember the last thing I did with about the thugs and Kali and how she was also called the dark goddess? It is the same thing. This is the same spirit, y'all. This is the same thing. And the goddess of hell that was often depicted carrying a phallic object, the king's severed penis disguised as a fish. And here you have the image of the fish, but it's really that man's penis. Now, this is why they say don't give your power to a woman. What do they say when a man is picked up by a woman? They say she got him by the what? You know what? She has him by his cojones. She has him by the balls. That's what they say. This is symbolic of this same situation of the woman overriding the man. Again, they take the sacred way that was set up. The woman needs the man as source of protection. So the woman submits to the man. But what they do is they take the woman and want to remove the man and put her in that place. And then that way you subjugate the man because she has his penis in her hand. He is subject to her. He is controlled by her. This is why Isis, using the smooth words, you go in with the harlot. This is why so many dudes, when they go to the strip club, because the maypole also was an analog for strip poles as well. There's I want to say it was Aphrodite, who was, again, the Greek version of Isis, went down into hell, and there was different levels of hell. And it said she slid down on the pole. And every level of hell that she went in, she lost clothes on every one. And when she got to the bottom, she was completely naked as she faced Mars down there at the bottom in hell. Same thing. It's a sexual control. This is why most dudes, when they go to the strip clubs and they talking to these strippers have the best talk game out there for a woman, because they know that they have to fulfill a sexual fantasy for a man to get that money. So they will sell you all the dreams that they got. And these niggas is sitting here thinking, oh, she really liked me, and giving her all that money. And all she wants is to get every bit of dollar up out of you so she can get the next man on here and do the same thing to him. It is about controlling the man, using his sexual prowess as the way, and then allowing that man to give up the things that he has. That man has worked hard for that money, and he willingly gives it up just to hear sweet nothings and to see the nakedness of a woman. It's the same thing. This is legit the same exact thing, y'all. We are living. What's new is old. There's nothing new under the sun. Here are a couple more images of Isis and the sacred penis phallus of Osiris. There's another one showing, again, the man down, the woman ruling over the man. The woman over the man, controlling him via his sexual penis. Today, okay, now, and then we're not going to go any further after that. I just wanted to go and talk about that part right there. This is to show y'all that this way of moving today is unnatural. And just to even put a punctuation on it, and so when I talked about before how the Ethiopians dress, this is even how the Europeans used to be and how it was in society during that time. So when you went to the beach, you didn't just get in a skimpy G-string and all that. Like, all that junk is practically nakedness. Wearing just a top and a bottom and all your body showing out. And it's the beach, and oh, how am I supposed to be comfortable? Blah, blah, blah. You make all these excuses up, because your soul is tainted with the nonsense. Any excuse to express that seed in your soul from these demonic spirits, this demonic, and mind you, this spirit is not just a female. These spirits can move between male and female. They both. It's I forget the name of the group of people, but there's one group that all their gods in certain languages, the language is gendered. There's, ways of saying things that you refer to a man. There's ways to say you refer to a woman. In Spanish, it's el if you say for a man, like, el baño or whatever, it's for a man. Or for a woman, you say ella. You say it with the two L's and an A. So there's different distinctions. There's in a lot of cultures, this is the same thing, where there's distinctions between male and female. They get rid of that. This one culture in particular, the men and the women, the gods are used in gender neutral pronouns because the gods could be either men or women. So this is why they don't use a male or a female, because they're both, because these spirits are inherently a spirit and they can move and manifest themselves as a man or manifest as a woman. It's all about control and getting what they want. And here you have the bathing machine. It was a device popular from the 18th century into the early 20th century to allow people at beaches to change out of their usual clothes and change into swimwear and wade in the ocean. Bathing machines were roofed and walled wooden carts that rolled into the sea. Some had solid wooden walls and others canvas walls over a wooden frame, and commonly walls at the sides and curtain doors at each end. The use of bathing machines was part of the etiquette for sea bathing, which that's a European thing. I'm gonna leave that alone. We'll just say for going out to the beach and hanging out in the water. You don't bathe in the sea. And to be observed by both men and women who wish to behave respectably. I'm gonna say that again. It was a part of the etiquette for sea bathing to be observed by both men and women who wished to behave respectably. And this is the problem. And this is what they say. Although modest by modern standards, were not considered proper clothing. I'm actually reading this. Especially in Britain, when even the use of the machine to protect modesty, bathing for men and women was usually segregated so that people of the opposite sex would not see each other in their bathing suits, which, although modest by modern standards, were not considered proper clothing in which to be seen in public. So yes, by modern standards, or rather the old standards of the old world run by the fallen watchers and the fallen mankind, the same standards about then as the same modern standards, where you just got women walking around practically butt naked on the beach. I don't even like going to the beach like that no more because of that. Because all you got is a bunch of chicks out there half naked looking for attention. Even in the gyms, you can't even go to the gym because it don't take all that all that extra tight and slithery stuff. Honestly, I personally believe that most men and women shouldn't even be in the gym together like that. I liked it when it was like a gym for a woman and a gym for men. There are some things that should be separated. There are, if you need to wear it, because there are safety concerns about wearing loose clothing around a bunch of machines and stuff like that in the gym, but you don't have to have a thing so tight that you practically look naked in it. Like everybody be wearing leggings like they regular pants. Again, talk about the dudes with the muscle shirts. They jokers be running around rocking muscle shirts and all this kind of stuff just to go get some food or to go hang out somewhere. Like, my guy, you can find a shirt that fits properly and nice without showing off everything. Ma'am, you can find pants that fit properly and nice and still give you the freedom of movement to move without showing everybody your print down there. Without showing everybody every curve and every little bit of thing on your body. They can see the doggone mole on the side of your back. Like from just how tight your clothes is, if there's even anything there to cover it. Because most of the time they go to the gym in bra and leggings, and that's it. But it's nakedness. And you see here the way they dressed. Again, modest. They weren't half naked. This is them dragging the machines out into the beach. And this is them out there in the water. The women all on one side, again, all properly attired. You don't see nobody half dressed wearing all the foolishness and nonsense. And you see the lady inside the cart changing out of her dress into the swimming wear. And she's doing it because you see she has it on under her skirt. So she's even being modest even there where she's doing it. And you see here where probably a husband and a wife coming in. And again, she's dressed modestly. And even then, you see how she is. She's not willing to show herself willingly, even in that type of attire that she is in. There was a modesty that was done back in the day that they've ripped away and got us programmed to think that this is old fashioned. If you tell a woman to put clothes on, she's going to look at you sideways. I remember my mom used to bring this up all the time in church. And used to always talk about how the chicks would come into the church. And now it's one thing if you fresh off the streets, you don't know no better. Because again, that's all you've known. So there's time for you to grow. But these were folks that have been, in there for a while. A lot of it is just these thirsty, looking for attention behind women that don't want to get put down that part in their flesh. Just like you got these thirsty men that's going to come in there, and because hood dudes know if you want to find a chick to come around, you go into the church, you find you a little chick or whatever, because they in there, they thirsty, so they come in there, find them a little church girl, and then all that. Oh, I'm waiting till marriage, go out the window, because deep down she's an agent of chaos. She's submitted to the circus, and she's submitted to the pharmakia of the circus that is the church, and then she out here moving in that chaos with these chaotic agents, the thugs, the street, the dudes that are off their balance themselves, that give their power to women. These jokes, women are just so beautiful. I just can't help it. Nigga, put yourself together. Put your doggone self together. You have self-control. It ain't like you can't turn your head. It ain't like it's just a must that you can't. No, because you so used to bowing down to that woman and giving your phallus freely over to her that you can't see yourself not submitting yourself to a woman. That's not no power move by you, my guy. You are a fool that is led around by your sexual desires. And that's why you niggas end up with baby mamas that's psychotic and crazy and chaotic. Because you moved in chaos, you created a baby in chaos, and then get upset that chaos surrounds everything in that situation. Come on, man. We got to be for real, man. This is an ancient covenant that the Most High created for children. He created us to have children. Not saying that, again, my personal belief, the reason why the Most High made it pleasurable is because if he didn't, there wouldn't be no kids. They wouldn't. Because with the craziness that, even when you got a woman with her mind together, there's already beef and things. Y'all two different people learning how to be one. And that's a part of the process. As you learn her and as that woman learns him, you also learn ways you submit to Yah. Because when you submit to your husband as a woman, that gets you closer to Yah. As a man, when you're that provider, not just in money, but just in leadership, you are providing guidance. You are providing the word. You are providing and being a shelter for everything that is needed. You tend to her needs, whether they physical or emotional. And again, not trying to make no woman happy, because again, don't ever try to do that, men, because you'll never win trying to make a woman happy. And women, you need to learn that your happiness comes from you. You ain't never gonna get no happiness from a man. You ain't never gonna get no happiness from nothing in this world but from Yah. And that is designed by purpose. Just like a man, you ain't gonna never find happiness in a woman. You ain't gonna never find happiness in none of the things that you do. Your happiness is only in fulfilling the purpose that Yah has given you. This is why my man, one of the favorite prophets in the Bible, Jeremiah, was like, it's like fire shut up in my bones. I want to shut up. I want to sit back and chill. And I want to not say nothing. Just like today, I didn't really feel like coming online. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, it's my day off. I want to, kind of, no, I got a job. I have a task to do, and I will not move from the task that the Most High gave me. I am submitting myself and my time to the Most High. That is what you do as a man, even when you don't feel like it. But we understand that as men. We understand that. But this is something that needs to be understood by women too. That, hey, your blessings come through submission. Esther saved the whole Hebrew nation through submission, because she was submitted to the king, because she was the opposite of Vashti, who was antagonistic and wanted to fight and flex herself like she just Miss Fine Beautiful or whatever. She received favor for the king when she came before him, and then she was actually out of line. She wasn't supposed to come before the king just like that. She was out of line. But because she was submitted to the king, his heart softened to her and he extended the scepter to her. Like, no, that's okay. Let her come in. This my baby. That's my lady. She's my rest. She's my help. She's my support. So of course she can come in, even though it's out of order. I will allow it, because if she's coming in like this, I know it must be something. So let me listen to my woman. There was no beef because she was submitted, and because of her submission, she saved the entire nation without picking up a single sword. She had a tea party. That's crazy. That is crazy. David had to kill niggas to get the kingdom. Joshua had to kill niggas. She had a tea party. This is why the order of Yah is constantly being destroyed. This is why this order, this is an oversimplification of the order that he has, is always fought against. This is why they tell you, oh, your body is your own. Oh, you don't want to have kids. You're not a baby factor. You're not you. It was a crime. We could read through multiple instances in the Bible when Rebecca wasn't having kids. She told Isaac, hey, your daddy went and prayed to the Most High Yah when your mom wasn't having kids. I need you to go up there as the man and do that same thing because I need to have some kids. I want some children. And what did Isaac do? He listened. He said, okay, you know what? I got you. I'm going to do that. And he went up there and he did that, and boom, that's when they started having kids. It was a shame to not have children. It was shameful. Now, I'm not going to put that on women today because I know a lot of our women have been poisoned. You know, I know a sister that was in the military that, you know, she suffers from that. And it's because of the poison. And y'all in the military, man, y'all, when the Most High say he's going to heal our blood, I believe that's one of the principal reasons too, because we've just been poisoned ad nauseum. You know, just poisoned with all kinds of stuff. Like I said, there's layers to this. There's so many layers that I could get into. We would be here all night because this is how demonically ingenious this fire of rebellion, this sexual fire rebellion that they wrote up in you. This is why they always say it's like fire. I scoop loins into my fire. Fire, you know, loins on fire. It's a fire. It's raging. They want that. They want to stroke that fire instead of you having it like a candle, controlled. When I need the light, I light the candle. When I don't need that light, I put that sucker away and I conduct myself with the light of Yah. I don't need to be lit by the light of the loins on fire all the time. I let Yah be my light. So that is what I wanted to bring tonight. You know, this is kind of just, this is like I said, this is a primer to get you thinking into reevaluating how you view not only relationships, how you review sex, and how you view children, because this is the foundation of a kingdom, is the man and the woman and the family. That is the foundation. And this is why they fought so hard. But integration was the worst thing that happened to us, y'all. The worst thing. We were the most married. We had kids. We had all that stuff, and we were self-sufficient. But they made us think that coming in to being involved in this nonsense was the best thing to do. And they put fake civil rights leaders in front of us. Again, how in the world is the NAACP supposed to be for black folks? Yet all the presidents and the people on the boards are all straight Anglo. Come on, man. That don't make no sense. How many black folks are on the board of these Asian groups? There's Asian groups that get together all the time. There's Indian groups. They have all these different organizations for all of them. How many black folks are on the board of APAC? I'll wait. How many black folks be working as the lead of APAC? Why is it that in our groups and all the things, the NAACP, HBCUs, everything that's supposed to be quote unquote black is always got an Anglo hanging in the wings, monitoring, making sure things go in a certain type of way? We got to wake up. We need to wake up and realize that these folks have set up traps. They've set up snares to keep us out of the way of Yah, to keep us breaking these old covenants. So with that, y'all, I appreciate y'all for coming out tonight. I encourage y'all. Like I said, this message came from the back forward too, because again, I tell the truth for myself. I love kids, man. Kids are awesome. I love children. I have always loved children. However, I don't want no parts to deal with the modern chick. I'm just sorry. Even when I see some Hebrew women talk, I'll be looking on different things on Teo on Facebook every now. I'll be ghosting and hanging around looking at stuff, and I see the stuff that comes out, and it's just so. Just every time, you know, like that one where, you know, Minister Yacoba was talking about polygyny and having multiple women, all these emotions. Oh, if it makes her feel this way, if it makes her feel, who gives a crap about how you feel? Straight up. I know that sounds harsh, but who cares? That goes for men and women. Nobody cares how you feel. I didn't feel like going live, but guess what? I'm here. There's lots of things I don't feel like going and pledging myself to a job and spending all my time on there, but you got to do what you got to do. We need to get out of our feelings and get more into truth. Truth over feelings. Who cares how you feel? Not to say that your feelings are invalidated, but you don't move with your feelings. You don't let your feelings dictate a thing. You let truth dictate a thing, regardless of how you feel about it. Who cares about your feelings? But that's why they lead with feelings, because women are most susceptible to this mess. And once they get the women off, then they get the men off. Then you get these soft simp men. They be like, well, you got to make sure this, and you got to make sure the woman like this, and you got to give her this, and you got these dudes that get on like, oh, if you tell your woman no, you done already messed up. You need to feel. No, nigga. Pull your loins up and get your penis out of that woman's hands and back onto your body and move like the man the Most High called you to be. Stop simping. Stop laying down just because she fine and you want to have sex or whatever. Now you got to raise your kids as bastards in this nonsense. Control yourself. If the men control yourself and you stop feeding these chaotic women, guess what's going to happen? They're going to have to submit. When that's what we're seeing now. You see them online all the time. Oh, where are the men at? Why no men approaching? Why no men talking? Why no men doing this? Do that for righteousness. We stand for righteousness. If you're not chasing after y'all, if you're not here to help me as a man chase y'all, then get out of my face. You can't do nothing for me. I don't care how fine you is, how thick you are. You can put 15 C's after that thick. I don't care. Straight up. We got to get out of this junk as men. Be just being led around by our penises. Use your brain, my dude. Stop bringing in children and bringing in bastard kids and continuing this slave. That's a slave farm. They want bastards because bastards make good slaves. We need to stop that. Cut off this curse of bastards. If you've done so in the past, repent before Yah and pray, and then even repent to your children as a man, even as a woman too. Repent. Repent to those kids and let them know the way that they should move. You'll be surprised how breaking that is for you as the parent to apologize to the child. When I'll give y'all this example, and I'm a dip. When I was young, 2 years old, but I'm old enough to remember before my mom and dad got saved, and then after. I don't know if my siblings remember, but I remember. I remember when they used to go out and party and stuff like that. When we had babysitters and stuff, we'll go to my grandma's house. I remember that. And when I was 2, I used to have images in my head of they were pornographic. I know now they were pornographic images, but I didn't know how they got there. I'd never seen these things before. And I was like, it was curious. But that was why I had struggles with pornography. And then one day I was tired of this crap. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not gonna let this mess rule me no more. And I had made a decision to really fight against this thing with the Most High. And I was telling my mom about it. I'll never forget it. I still remember that day. I was in work, sitting in the back of the corner. I called her up like I always do on my break, and I just hit her up, and I was like, hey, and I was just telling her about what I was doing and how I was seeking Yah, and how I was really trying to just destroy this root of perversion that was in my life. And she know about that because she had done caught me a couple of times, because the Most High put me out. But I tell you, I might tell that story one time, man. He put me out. Actually, I'll tell it now. There was one time, because back then there was, there was internet and stuff, but it was dial up, and my mom, she controlled the internet. We didn't have phones like that. So as soon as I was old enough to 18 to drive and then go into these little stores, I used to go in and get them little $10 DVDs or whatever, and then be sitting there waiting until everybody go to sleep and watch the DVD, do my thing. And then I didn't want to keep it in the house because I'm so nervous that somebody would find it. So I took it and I threw it away. I put it in the garbage. So I took it and I made sure I put it at the bottom of the garbage. I put the DVD all the way at the bottom of the garbage, and then I put the garbage to the road. I was the dude that took the garbage out, so that made it easy. I had it all planned out. So I was like, cool, that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's all said and done. That's why I bought the $10 ones, because $10 is like, no, nothing. I was working at the time. So $10, that wasn't nothing. So I come home one day and my mom looking at me sideways, and she wait till my dad get home, and then they both come and they pull me to the side, and she pull out the DVD. And I'm like, how did she get this DVD? How did this happen? And then she said, yeah, your brother, who she normally don't do this, he actually went to go pick the garbage up. And when he picked the garbage up, the DVD was right there underneath. This is back before that. Nowadays, we got these garbages. And I know this down here where I stay. I think they do it everywhere now, where, you have the special garbage cans where they just come in and the machine on the truck will just grab the garbage can and dump it in. This is, I'm 41. This is back in the 90s. So this is 2000s, I want to say. Yeah, this is early 2000s. And, this is back when you still had to go buy your own garbage can, and then they would have the dudes hanging out on the side of the garbage truck. They would have to pick your garbage up and dump it in. Somehow, crazy way, the disc didn't go in. And it was right down there on the ground. And I got caught. And I got a talking to. And so this was something she was aware of. And then I told her I was not, I was like, I was done with this mess. I ain't finna do this no more. And I was just telling her how I was really seeking Yah about deliverance from this. She started to break down and cry. And she started to profusely apologize to me. And as she apologized, I was feeling things like break off of me. And then she explained to me how she used to feel guilty because her and my dad also used to participate in that nonsense. And back then, they would get a tape, a VHS from their friend, and they would dub it. So back then, when you dub, for those of us that are old enough to remember, when you dub VHS, you had to have two VCRs, and then you play the one, and then you had the other one plugged into the other one, and you record it from there. So the movie had to play out to record it. They usually would do this and then turn the TV off and let the thing do its thing. This day, they forgot to do it, and my 2-year-old self walked in there and watched it and was saying, and then when they came into the room, my mom horrified, she, started screaming. My dad come in, they both freaking out because my 2-year-old self in there watching pornography. That's where them images came from. I had an answer for where them images came from. And she profusely apologized and explained the whole situation to me. And that was a big break in my deliverance towards that mess. Apologize to your kids for bringing them in the improper way. It takes humbling. You have to humble yourself. You can't be this, these things happen for a reason. It made me. No. Take ownership. Apologize. Tell them the way I did it was wrong. If they don't have kids, say, hey, make sure when you bring kids in, you do right. If they have kids, and tell them, hey, unless they brought them kids in the right way, if they brought them in as bastards too, you need to do the same for your kids. Let's break these curses off our family so that we can have a family line that doesn't bring in bastards, that doesn't dishonor Yah with their bodies. This is necessary. Necessary. You have to take ownership. You have to realize the way you think, the way you do things is not right. This stuff has integrated into your soul, and it makes it seem like it is your thoughts, but it's not. It has been handed to you. Y'all seen that thing from The View. That's just one small example. I could make a whole 2-hour video of tons of examples. Disney Channel showing all the different shows and stuff like that. I was crazy. Again, Shattered Paradise, man. I'm highly recommending them. Show Disney Channel with the one, I think it was I forget her name, Katy Perry, which I didn't even know Katy Perry was on there. And she's doing stuff with her hands, talking about it like it's nonsense. For a kid, you wouldn't see it that way. But when you're as an adult, you see, she's stroking this thing that's shaped like a phallus in a sexual way. Oh, can you drink water upside down? She turns upside down and pours water on, like all sorts of things that have heavy sexual innuendos, and she's doing this crap. This is what's fed into your kids. Pay attention to what they watch. Pay attention to what they listen to. If you read the book, you will see that everything that you see, hear, even who you are around, affects your soul. You can preach to them all day long, but if their soul gets infected with this mess, it's harder for them. That is my message to y'all today. And I appreciate y'all for coming through. I appreciate y'all for coming out, hanging with the brother. Again, get your copy of the book. It's in the pinned comment. What is the soul? It's going to help you, give you a good launching pad to evaluate yourself and evaluate the things around you and how they affect your soul. And you'll start seeing and noticing things like never before. I love hearing from folks that they tell me stuff that they see and stuff that they found out, and ways that the book has helped them see different things from how they do stuff. Be more intentional with what you see, what you do, and who you hang around. Sometimes, hey, it's a narrow road. You may not have no friend, and it's only temporary. It's only a temporary thing, because again, when the Most High restores the kingdom, we all going to be like-minded working together as a kingdom. So, hey, do you really want to have a ton of friends that are into Babylonian nonsense that's going to affect you with this lustful nonsense? And I don't like hanging around niggas that just act like they, whenever I'm around a dude and the woman walk by and they just bend their body to turn around and look. Ah, dog. I'm not feeding into that crap. I'm good. I'm walking away from that. So, with that being said, man, I really appreciate y'all again. And I want to tell y'all that, hey, make sure we walk back to the ancient paths, the ways of Yah, those paths. Because honestly, this lustful stuff is an ancient path too, but it's the wrong path. We need to get back on the Torah and the way that our people were supposed to watch and the way we were supposed to be. Birth control, I can't tell you, all I can tell you is trust Yah. Trust Yah. Don't put that mess affects the woman's body in such a negative way, and it affects their hormones. And it's probably a lot of reason why a lot of women are so jacked up in their body, even as it is. You're out of whack in what you eat. You're out of whack in what you put into your body, and you're out of whack in what you consume as far as television and media and all that stuff. work through all those things and fix all those things. So with that being said, y'all be blessed.
I'm aware it's a lot of people that's mad at me. They disagree and attempt to try and embarrass me. I'm getting sick of the Pharisees coming after me. I say what God tell me, ain't no way that they can cancel me for saying that I feel like social media is dangerous. Everybody sexy, successful, I think they gangster. It's all fun and games until the kids do the same thing and use their cell phone to get everyone on the same wave. It feels strange leaving us in a state of distraught. Why do it feel like my phone be knowing most of my thoughts? Television since a child, so it's all that I've been taught. And how come when I start to research, I'm trying not to get caught, yet it feels weird. Why wouldn't I talk about it? We all know the truth and we constantly walk around it. When I talked about Christmas, they all had looked at me funny. I just feel a lot of holidays be used to make money. I mean, think about it. Look, y'all can tell me if I'm a trip, but how is Christ's birthday and we the ones getting gifts? And when I talk about the vaccine, everybody be extra. I don't feel like it's the mark, man. I just feel like it's a test run so we can feel comfortable when we falling in line. Don't believe what they telling you cause they all in disguise. That's why they telling us lies. But that's a different conversation. Gotta wait till COVID finish decreasing population. But anyway, I think they go keep calling me crazy now. Everybody sleeping, let's see if you go be lazy now. We breaking out these chains so we could go get on God wave. The world is up in flames and we just talking about LeBron James. Dang, man, why did I say his name, man? I'm sorry. I know this sounds funny, but it's not a game. Atari, I'm sorry. Don't know why I keep on playing around. That's how easily the snake could distract us until we drown and then attract us to the ground that we had started from. Stop friend zoning your demons and kill all of them. It ain't no sparing lives in spiritual warfare, cause people be playing dead and come back to get all theirs. Beware.